Hi guys, thanks for watching again. Yeah, we just had a business meeting on the beach, which is amazing. As you can see, it's sunny and yeah, the beach is right there. So today I'm going to be talking about a post I wrote, and the post is actually about failure. Now, why is failure such an important thing for us to understand? I'm going to try and explain this for 5 minutes. So you probably have seen the Michael Jordan Nike commercial where he talks about his failures, how much winning shots he missed and all of those stuff. Well, this is the player we assume is the best, the greatest player of all time. But yet in this commercial he's only talking about his failures. Why is that so important? Because the difference between normal people and successful people is that successful people understand that you need to fail to become successful. Now, I'm going to try to explain this in a more concrete way, a way you can actually use right away. So I actually watched this speech from Darren Hardy where he describes failure, comfort zone, and happiness as stages. And in the middle, it's like a pendulum. So in the middle, you have your comfort zone. On one end you have failures, and on the other hand you have happiness. So obviously it's not that easy to swing that pendulum towards happiness. If that was so easy to do, everybody would do it and we would get rich right away. Like you've probably seen those programs for $39 you can become rich like in 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Well, obviously it doesn't work like that. If it did, I would probably have tested it out already. But I am going to tell you a way to become successful. Maybe that'll be rich, doesn't have to be though. So you cannot push it towards happiness, but you can push it towards failure. Now the comfort zone is in the middle. Some people, what they do their whole lives is stay in this comfort zone. They push it a little bit towards failure, and so it swings a little bit towards happiness. Now I'm gonna tell you a short story about me, so that you can try and use this concept right away in your lives to become successful. So when I began with sales, I chose what was considered to be the hardest possible selling you can do, which is door-to-door sales. Why is this considered to be the hardest sell you can do? It's because you don't have a connection with these people. So maybe cold calling is worse, but it's the equivalent, because in the end you don't have a connection with these people. They don't know anything about you, they don't know anything about you, your product or your company. So you arrive at their door, you disturb them during their lunch or TV commercials, I have no idea what, but you're disturbing them and you don't have a connection with them. If you're able to build up a connection from there and be able to make a sale, that is a really, really hard thing to do. So when I started with the whole concept of sales, I went into the niche that was considered the hardest thing to do, which was door-to-door sales. I signed up with this company, and by the end of half a year, I probably did more than 1,000 doors. I had sold approximately 200 to 300 products for that company, which is a big thing, definitely for that company back then. That's how I got into the whole coaching stuff, because suddenly it got a little bit boring there because it was really repetitive. So I wanted to go more into the B2B stuff, business to business, business to consumer stuff, which was to me more interesting. Now what I noticed when I started doing B2B is that you have a connection already because you both are businesses. You know the struggles you go through. You know as well that you're both entrepreneurs, and unless you have a product of value, there is no reason why you're even there. So to me, B2B was more easier, especially because I came from door-to-door sales. Now, what I did there, I took that concept of the pendulum that Darren Hardy described, and I pushed it as far away as possible towards the failure side. Because I knew, and this is the part where you need to trust me, I knew that when I push it all the way to failure, it will swing back. You have to trust that it will swing back. By putting a lot of work in it, eventually it will swing back towards happiness. And if you trust in that, whether it'll be in 6 months, in 1 year, in 2 years, believe me, your failures there will eventually become a success elsewhere. Now, to me, I had so much failures in the door-to-door stuff that I knew almost every response that was possible. So when people would come up with a response that wasn't valid, I could just give the answer to that response so that they could understand that their way of thinking wasn't logical. This is how I got these sales done. And when I came to B2B, it was the same thing, just on a higher level. And so to me, it was actually easier because I had done all the training. The people that start with B2B, the problem there is that you're not getting the quantity that you need in the beginning to see the patterns moving along. So you definitely have to push it towards the biggest failure you have. The reason why is because you will start to see patterns, so that once you start doing B2B, it won't be that much of a problem. Thanks for watching, and yeah, just contact me if you have any questions about this.